Hello my friends and welcome to the installation guide for the Extended Lore Rebalance project, complete with a mod sort of showcase really. And the reason why we're going to do a little bit of a mod showcase is because the way XLRP works, it has a core package and a couple of mods that are required to make it work. And in that state, it works and it delivers, extra weapons, extra variants, all that kind of thing. A bit like Extended 3025. But there's also a load of optional mechs and mods that are compatible. And I spoke to the author about what he recommended as the complete experience. And so that is what we will be installing: is all of these mods to create the complete XLRP recommended experience, which XTRMN TR2K, long name, he made XLRP and he wrote the recommendation list to me, which we are going to install today. So there is a lot to do here. This is going to take a long time to install everything and go over everything. So we're going to split this into 3 steps. So the first step is we're going to download everything. Then the second step is that we're going to check that we're ready to install. And then the third step is that we're going to actually start installing stuff, and it will take some time. So to begin, you will need to install 7-zip or a similar zip program, because unfortunately some of the mod packages are in zip format, some of them are in raw format. Some of them are in 7-zip's own format. So you will need to go to www.7-zip.org/download.html and download 7-zip. Get it installed so that you can actually unpack the mods. Next step is to download the mods, which is not as simple as you would think. I have split my desktop here. Well, it's my wife's computer. I've split the desktop here into 3 sections: core, which are the core files; optional, which are the optional mods for the recommended experience; and mechs, which are the additional mechs that you can install that are supported by XLRP. Right, so the first step is to download everything, and I would organize it pretty neatly on your desktop because we're going to be quite busy. So you need XLRP first, the main package. And if you go to the description of this, under requirements, you will also find the links to Mek Engineer and BattleTech. So you'll want to open both of those as well. Download XLRP from the site, as well as mekengineer.zip, this one, and modtech.zip, which is this one here. You got the 3 of those, download them, save them on your desktop. These are the core files. We will be using them shortly. Okay, so the next thing is to install all the mods, all the mechs. Well, download all the mechs, and there's a exhaustive list of mechs which you can download. These are the ones that were recommended to me that are supported by XLRP. Just note that each time you download, you want to download the version for Mek Engineer. That's important. Do not download the version for vanilla. So you have the Archer, the Annihilator, the Assassin, the Champion, the Flea, the Longbow, the Marauder updated, the Night Star, the Raven, the Rifleman, and the Warhammer Redux. So you need to download all of these, and you need to download either the base version or the Mek Engineer version. You do not want the vanilla version of any of these files. Once you have downloaded all those mechs, just put them to one side under. I've used a text pad here to create little buckets. Just download them all, put them to one side. We will use those later. Just noting that some of these do change the balance of the game a little bit. For example, if you get the Flea is not a mech that you will ever use yourself. Well, maybe you will, just to spite me, but it's a pretty weak mech. But the AI obviously will deploy it, so that will make missions much easier where the Flea is deployed. as opposed to, say, another light like a Firestarter or a Panther or something. So just something to consider, but these are all the mechs that were recommended, that are fully supported, so we have got them all. And then the next thing, yep, there's more. The rest of the things that we need to download are the adjusted mech assembly. So what this does is by Morphium, and it makes it so that mechs, when they're assembled, they are damaged either partially or fully. If you don't like that, don't download it. The advanced difficulty settings, no harm in downloading this. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. That's by Tainted Loki. The aim assist or attack improvement mod, this adds the little aim lines to everything. This is the Spartan version that just literally supplies the aim lines and a few other things. No harm in downloading that. Make sure you get it. Excuse me. That is by Sheepy. Basic Panic System, one of my favorites, by Reality Machina. Just adds ever-increasing piloting panic checks for when someone is getting their ass kicked, and I like that. Community fixes, just it's a massive project on the official forums to fix all the typos and stuff in the game. No harm in installing that. Also recommended to me by the author, CBT Heat, Movement and Piloting. I am not a fan of CBT Heat because I feel like it favors energy mechs too harsh, too heavily, because of the explosive checks on ammunition-based weapons. It's just another advantage for energy weapons, but we're downloading it anyway. CBT Movement, which obviously allows attacking after sprinting at an accuracy penalty, accuracy penalties on jumping, all that kind of thing. And CBT Piloting checks, which changes the stability system so that you're actually making piloting checks when you get hit, and in theory you could be knocked over by any hit if your pilot fails his check, although as they get better, those checks will become more easy to pass. There we go, easier. Once again, this is all part of the recommended experience, but you don't have to download all of these. Less head injuries just prevents basically machine guns and missiles from doing head injuries. Bigger weapons will still do so. JK rarity tables changes some things in XLRP so that you get more flavorful lances instead of random ones. So, you know, if you're in a particular house's territory or whatever, you might face lances that are mostly comprised of that house's mechs rather than just random ones. And Melee Mover fixes the problem where you get stuck next to an enemy mech and you can't melee it, or you can only melee it from the front. It fixes that and just will allow you to melee in all circumstances. I more or less consider this to be a bug fix more than anything else, so definitely grab that. And finally, Navigation Computer by MP Stark. It's a funny story about this this mod. MP Stark was watching me play Fury Point and got incredibly as frustrated as I was with the inability to search for planets and plot a route and all that kind of thing, and he decided that he would fix that problem for me, and he made this mod. Unfortunately, Fury Point campaign, part of the point of it was no mods, so I did not get around to installing it, but we'll be installing it now. So you got to download all of that, which is going to take you some time. It certainly took me some time. Once you've downloaded all of that, save it to your desktop, and you should end up with something that looks a lot like this. Okay, so we've installed 7-zip and we've downloaded all of these files. We are pretty much ready to go. The next step, of course, is to check that you are ready to install. So, simple way to do that. You've got your BattleTech, go to Properties, click Browse Local Files. Let's just put that away for now, but we will need it. Make sure that the game is set to only update when you launch it. Never allow back. You can ignore that actually. Untick Steam Cloud. and then open up the game and make sure that you have no campaigns, no careers, no saved mech variants, nothing. You've got to strip the client completely clean. There is a clean uninstall process which I have if you require it. But if you've never modded before, the simple steps is to open up your game and delete all campaigns, all careers, and all saved lances in the multiplayer section, and all saved mechs in the skirmish mech lab. Alright, once you've done all of that, we are finally ready to begin the install process. So, first step, open up your BattleTech folder, which we have just opened. Call it mods. Sorry, my headset cut out for a second there. Once you have the mods folder, you have to install ModTech. So open up ModTech, grab the folder that's inside ModTech. This is 7-zip here, which is what I recommend that you use. It's just nice and simple. Just open up your mods folder and drag ModTech in like this. Then open up ModTech and right click and run the mod injector as the administrator. Press any key to continue. Excellent, we're done. You can check that ModTech is running correctly by opening up the game again, and where you look at the versioning it will be there, but that's not really necessary. Okay, with ModTech installed, we will now have to install Mek Engineer next, I believe. Just going to double check my list because this is quite a lot of things to do. So let's drag these in. Once again, we are just taking the Mek Engineer components and just dragging them into the mods folder. That's all we have to do with that one. Okay, close that, and then we need to open the XLRP zip folder, and we have to drag in some very specific stuff here. So I'm going to make sure I 100% get it right. Unpack the folders XLRP, XLRP custom ammo, and XLRP logo, and drag them in. Okay, done. Now, in XLRP Mek Engineer settings, there is a settings.json folder and .json file, sorry, and that needs to go in mods Mek Engineer, where there is an already existing file, and it will ask you if you want to replace it, and you want to replace it. Okay. Now, you also want to drag XLRP optional mods onto your desktop. Because we will use that later. Okay, so that is the core of XLRP installed, which will basically give you a vanilla version of XLRP where you have extra variants and extra weapons and things to play around with, but no additional mechs outside of, no additional chassis outside of the base game's chassis, and obviously none of the other mods which we talked about earlier. So the next thing to do is to install all these extra mechs, which will take some time. But it's not like a clean process, so I'm just going to go down these in order. So the longbow, here we go. Just drag the longbow in here. So the longbow folder is going into the BattleTech mods folder. And you will want to then go to the XLP optional mods folder, which we also downloaded, and put in the corresponding folder for the mech that you've just done. Like that. So now we have BD_longbow and we have XLRP-longbow. And I'm just doing these one at a time because, I mean, I could just drag them all in. but maybe I've overlooked something, maybe you've overlooked something, so it's better to just do them one by one and then be sure. Okay, so the next one, the archer, so BD archer goes in, and then XLP archer also goes in. Rifleman, BD rifleman goes in, then XLRP rifleman goes in. Okay, close that one. Flea, BD flea goes in, then XLRP flea goes in. Repeating the process here. Annihilator. Now I could just drag all these in straight away, but it's nice to just be 100% in what you're doing. So BD assassin goes in and XLRP assassin goes in. The marauder redux goes in, and then the XLRP marauder folder goes in. The Warhammer redux or updated goes in. Then the XLRP Warhammer goes in. The champion goes in. Then the XLRP champion goes in. And finally the Night Star goes in. Did I just accidentally stick that inside the champion folder? No, I don't think I did. Oops, this is me making a mistake. Where did the BD underscore Nightstalker folder go? See, this is why you do them one by one, in case you make a mistake like this. Okay, let's stick this back in here. Okay, so we've got all 8 of them, and we've got all 8 of them, and I need to work out where I just accidentally stuck that one folder by mistake. If I even made the mistake, there it is. Okay, cool. So, just double checking, we have 8 BD mechs and we have 8 XLRP enhancements, ignoring custom ammo there. Alright, excellent. Oh, and this XLRP logo is not a mech, so these are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Just double and triple check everything, because if you have to redo this process, you will be very sad. All done. We're done with the optional mods folder. Perfect. We can delete that now. So now we've done the core and we've done the extra mechs. Excellent. Now we have the optional mods left to do. However, before we do the optional mods, there is one last thing to do, which is we need to include the XLRP flashpoint folder. So going back to the XLRP optional add-ons, I forgot to include this. The XLRP-flashpoint folder you should install if you have Flashpoint. If you do not have Flashpoint, you should not install it. This is why I wrote a really comprehensive and detailed list on how to do this, because it's there's a lot to do. So, need to include this XLRP Flashpoint folder from the optional mods folder if you have Flashpoint. If you don't, you can skip that step. Or in fact, you should skip that step because your game will break. Okay, so now we're completely done. We've installed the core. We've installed the extra mechs. We've added the Flashpoint optional folder. We've put in the XLRP configuration changes for each and every one of the mechs that we've installed. Obviously, if you don't install the Flea, for example, then don't install the corresponding XLRP-Flea optional mod. Okay, now the actual optional mods need to go in. So I accidentally closed my mods folder. So go to BattleTech Properties, browse local files, open up the mods folder again. Okay, so here's all the work we've done so far. Starting with the basic panic system, because it's just, I think it's just in alphabetical order. Drag the folder in. Just be careful to not make the same mistake I did, which was to drag a folder into another folder. Just find a little edge of your window so that you can just drop it in without dropping it on top of a folder. All of these are very simple. It's just a case of opening the compressed file and then dragging the folder into the mods folder. One by one. No rush, take your time. Check that you've done each one. Try to be try to be logical about what you're doing. Don't include this Mac OS X folder from CBT Movement. That is for Mac. If that wasn't obvious. Okay, just going through and adding all of these one by one. Take some time. CBT piloting. And finally, JK rarities. Okay. And we should now be finished. What a process. Now we should just be able to right-click play game. And if we've done everything correctly and I haven't screwed up, then XLRP is ready to play. It can take some serious time to load on the first attempt. So let's just get it to load, just to show you what it should look like when the loading is complete. Plus, I like to give people some idea of how long it takes for these these to actually load. Okay, merging. And it's got to build a library after this as well. Populating. These are all good signs. Everything seems to be going smoothly. Hey, there we go. It was worth all the practice just to do this in one big go. Boom! It's installed and it's ready to play. So yeah, this was quite a long process, but I hopefully made it much simpler for you. So enjoy, play XLRP, enjoy it, and let me know what you think of it. And hopefully I can write some more guides in the future to help you get other mod packs installed. But this one takes a lot of effort to get running, but I believe it will be worth it. So yeah, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.